Why the fuck are these things so expensive? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of J's with Jay. What is this? Our third installment, I believe. Right off the bat, let's just kick things off with what I was currently looking at, and that was this game I'd like to buy. As you heard from the theme song, I was looking at the Super Mario Odyssey game, which is on, what is it called? The Nintendo Switch. Yes, I have a Nintendo Switch for some strange reason. No, I have not played it since the console came out in March, I'm gonna say. I believe March. So since March, I've probably played it 6 times. Give or take 6 times. Anyways, new game's out. It's been a while too, Super Mario Odyssey, but Jesus Christ, why do these games cost about $79.99? This is a Mario game we're talking about. This is a game that they've remade close to what now, 50 times since 1985. Probably even later than that, but 1985, and we've had about 50 renditions of Super Mario. How many times could he possibly save the same girl? At this point, I really do hope that the princess dies, because we've reached a point where if he keeps saving her, either he's gonna die or she's gonna die. Someone's gotta go. But that's not the. Anyways, that's not what I want to get into. What I want to talk about. It's crazy to see how expensive these things are. These are games. These are, especially Mario in this case, and especially for the Nintendo console. These games are for your children. These games are not really necessarily, let's just say, intended for an adult audience. More or less, it's gonna be people from the ages of, we'll say, 8. Anybody could really play these games. I know I'm trying to say that it's mostly for children, but let's face facts. The parents are the ones who are buying these consoles for for the kids, and also the parents are the ones that are paying for the video games. I know I'm at an age, and many people are at an age, excuse me, where we could buy our own games and we could afford these things. But regardless, from a parenting aspect point of view, this is quite expensive. $78, $79 with tax. You're looking at this game's coming out to $91. That's close to $100 for a video game. And I'm not just talking any video game. I'm talking about a game that's, like I said, been done 50 times. Same story, just differently. Slight modifications. Now Mario gets to go to the real world and see real people, and not just his Koopas and those little mushrooms and etc. and etc. He's actually seeing real people with New York City and actual cities. But still, for a game that costs that much, and especially when your main audience that you're trying to attract are the young generation, are the young kids who've never played Mario, or even those who played Mario. But at the same time, it's difficult, and it's even difficult in the case of sports games. Take any sports game to be exact, whether it's NHL, whether it's NFL, whether it's FIFA or baseball, or what else is there? Well, those are the major four, really, because there are no tennis games. I know there's one coming out next year, but outside of Mario Tennis, there hasn't been any tennis games. F1 games come out usually once every 2-3 years. Even, oh yeah, another one, UFC, wrestling, boxing. Boxing, not so much. There hasn't been a boxing game, I believe, in the last 4 to 5 years. I don't know why. Maybe there's no audience, there's no marketplace for that. No one really wants to play a boxing game. Could be that, or just could be people are fed up of playing the same game over and over, and we want something fresh. And right now, has taken the reins of UFC, and they've been doing a decent job. Let's see what they do with UFC 3. I don't think they're gonna change the landscape or the foundation of how a mixed martial arts game should be, but we'll see what they do. It's coming out in February, I believe, of 2018. Which, guess what, is not that far away. Only 3 weeks away, if I'm exact. 3 or 2 weeks. 2 weeks maybe. Well, 3 weeks. Yeah, because the first would officially land on a Monday, so we'll say 3 weeks. But still, that these games, they're about $90. for even one. And these games are made yearly. These games come out every year, FIFA 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, until probably they stop making money or people stop buying them. But there's no real difference between any of these games. They're all the same game that you've played it last year. What different can you do? He passes, he shoots, he lobs. And all of them, and all of the sports ones, you pass, shoot, lob, you pass, shoot, dribble, stick control. What else is there? You do dekes. Defensively, you can take the ball, puck, or ball away from a person. Even baseball, you swing the bat, you throw the ball, and even when you throw the ball, you're not really doing much. You're just pressing triangle to throw like a curveball. It's not as if you're moving the joystick in order to have the joystick do a curveball effect. Storyline wise, well, what story is there in a game? There's no plot. There's no nothing. You're just playing the game to win. That's basically the goal. Now I know FIFA has added in the story mode. I'm not sure about that because I have not played any of FIFA 17 or 18, which are the two that added the story mode. So I'm not quite sure how good it is. I've heard that it's pretty decent. It kind of resembles the NBA 2K franchise. You're creating a player and you're taking them through the ranks, and you're trying to sign contracts. You're trying to get with the best team. People are trying to like say you're not good enough. You don't deserve to be on the first line, or etc. And you're going through all of this. So it's basically taking you through what it's like to be a real, I guess you could say, a real athlete. But other than that, it's really the gameplay wise and control wise, it's all the same. Nothing's changing. No one's trying to reinvent the wheel here. I know I heard that MLB The Show, I think it was 17, had done something incredible with their story mode, and I'm not 100. I believe like they offered you all the options to make as many changes as you'd want. So let's just say, as an example, the first thing that comes to my mind is you could have your player wearing a goofy top hat. So anything, there was nothing that was off limits, and everything was on limits. So you could do what you want as you please in this game, which is cool. That's a cool addition that makes baseball, I guess, a little bit more interesting. It even makes the game a little bit more interesting to play. Kind of reminds me of nothing really. Actually, I was gonna say GoldenEye, but it's not even the same thing. But GoldenEye was a little cool because you could have the guy with a big head. You could have him small. You could have him with no weapons, etc. Having the option to do as you please is always fun for a gamer, especially especially in the wrestling world. If you're a wrestling gamer, having the option to do what you want in a match is incredible. And I know they added that in this year's edition, where you could change any match type into whatever you'd like. And I say whatever you like in quotations because they'll always add there's always restrictions on certain things, even though the options are there. Like, I don't understand why you can't have 8 men in a ring and have no disqualification that I could go outside and grab a chair and hit somebody. Apparently, you're trapped in the ring if you've got 8 men and you want to eliminate them. You're trapped in the ring and you have no choice but to either pin them or throw them out of the ring. So you basically you can't leave the ring, but they can leave the ring once they're eliminated. I don't get that. But every year these games are coming out, and every year these games, it seems like the prices have increased. I think the most expensive game I ever bought was WWF Warzone on the N64, and that was the first time because I believe it came with a Rumble pack. The game cost about $90 on the N64. That's ridiculous. And then at one point, I think the games had gone to $59.99, and then $69, and then slowly made their way to $79, without any real explanation as to why. They've just gone up in prices. Console prices have gone up also. The console prices have actually decreased. It's funny, you look at a console price now, you could probably get an Xbox One Pro, which is the 4K version of the Xbox, for about 300 or maybe 250. I could be also wrong. And you're getting a console for that price, and you got to pay 100 for a game. There's something that's not working there. Why am I paying almost 2 times the amount of a video game, and I'm getting an actual machine? Why should I pay 2 times the amount? Sorry, why should I pay half the amount of your console to buy a video game? It's not that you're charging me so much money because I'm buying the physical copy of the game, not because it takes so much, not because it costs a lot to make the box, to make the pamphlet. They don't even give you a pamphlet anymore. any Xbox game you buy, or even PlayStation, I think. But I know for sure, for certain, in almost every Xbox game you buy, the game info or the booklet that used to come in these games is all done on the console itself. You open up the game and you press, I think, B or the home button, not the home button, excuse me, or the start button, and you can get the game menu, the game manual. So it's not doesn't cost a lot because it's expensive to make all of this. I understand gaming, to make video games is expensive. It's time consuming and takes years and years of work. But from a consumer's perspective, this is starting to get out of hand for us. A lot of people to go out of their way and spend $100 on a video game. It's like we don't really necessarily need it. We never really need to buy these games, but we do it anyways because we enjoyed it, and it's like an escape for us. It's like going to the movies to watch a movie. You're trying to relax. You're trying to enjoy it. Playing video games is the same way. So why should video games be treated any differently? Shouldn't they be maybe a little bit less expensive? Or okay, I'm not saying every video game. I guess I misspoke. Let's say the yearly games, the games that come out every year. As I said, the sports games. Shouldn't they be less expensive? Because first of all, nowadays you're spending I apologize. You're spending $79.99 for the basic version of the game. Most games come at $79.99. To other editions, there are 3 other editions usually. This collector's edition, which is about maybe $90 with tax, comes to probably 100 and something. And then there's the super duper collector's ultimate edition, which is always like $130 or $150, and that's even for Call of Duty, for Battlefield. For all these yearly games, there's always these super collector's editions. So every year, adults and kids alike are forced to spend hundreds of dollars on games that really are repetitive. They're put out every year. There's nothing that's really changed. There's little minor modifications made, but are they really necessarily worth the amount that you're paying? That's the question I want to leave you with. That's the question I want to leave you with, because I'm going to jump off this topic before I get angry and break down how my hatred for NHL led me to throwing one in the garbage, handing one out, and almost throwing one in the street until my great cousin accepted it into his home and has been giving it a nice home. He's been taking care of it and feeding it. But other than that goddamn fucking franchise should be canceled or redone or sent 2K, and just I never want to see another NHL game again unless I hear it's the greatest thing ever made and they've made some incredible modifications, such as I could grab the guy by the face and smash his head through the glass window if I miss the net. With that aside, look, these companies need to really focus on revamping the games if they expect people to continue to shell out this amount of money. If you're going to constantly put out these yearly products with minor improvements and then charge us more for a season pass to add special characters in wrestling games or in even fighting games, you got to spend like $30 to get Jason Voorhees, or in the wrestling games to get some of the popular wrestlers. I should not be paying more for a game when the game should have everything that I need already in it. What happened to the days where you could just take the cartridge, put the cartridge in, and there's your game? There was no loading, there was no waiting, there was no updating, there was no signing in online, there was no need for user accounts, guess this or any of that. You put the game in, the game worked, you played, you closed it, and that was that. Sometimes it saved, sometimes it didn't save, sometimes you had to restart from the beginning. But the game was always the game, and that was the focus. It was a game. It was not meant to be anything more. It was not meant to try and pretend that it was something that it wasn't. And then we've gotten away from that. Now we're trying to sell. We're selling for some reason. And it all started with, I'm gonna say Gran Turismo, because that was the first game I ever saw. They offered you a basic product, and then they tried to convince you to spend more money in order to get the best cars, to modify the cars, to do this to the cars. People don't need that. People need full games. You're already charging us hundreds of dollars. Give us the goddamn game that we're paying for, the game that we want to play. Don't give me no load times. Don't give me no, yeah, you need my username or this or that. Don't give me any of that. Give me the game that I want to play, and that's it. It's not complicated. There's no need to make it complex, or there's no need to make it that it takes 3 hours for it to download on our console, that it takes 3 hours for an update. We don't need any of that. Just let me put the disc in, let the disc play. I'm going to leave you with this reminder. Remember the days, besides the N64, where you could take a PlayStation disc, put the disc in, the disc would spin, the game would open. Now remember the days you could buy a little adapter, put it in the back of the PlayStation, burn your disc onto a DVD or a CD. I don't remember which one they were, and then just put a real game in, remove the real game, and put your copy disc in, and you could play it. And there was no signing in or any of that nonsense that there is now. What happened to simplicity? I understand the idea of making sure that you're protecting your property so nobody can steal it, but now we've gone a little bit overboard with all of this. And the gaming world has changed, and I'm not going to say for the better, but it's now leaning towards the online world, which is another thing. You're still charging us $79 to download a game onto our console that usually only holds between 500 gigabytes to 1 terabyte, and and the majority of your games take up about 80 and up of gigabytes. Just there is like the majority of your hard drive is full. So as I said, what I wanted to leave you with is have games become too expensive, and have they become too expensive because we continue to purchase, because we continue to give them the money. Now, I'm not going to say I'll boycott NHL, FIFA, NBA, Madden, WWE, UFC, Call of Duty, or Battlefield. Well, which I believe Call of Duty and Battlefield should probably be boycotted, and NHL and Madden, since they never changed the game. They continue to do the same thing. Even the two NBA games that come out every year, it's the same goddamn game. You shoot the ball in the net, you grab the ball, you dunk it in the net. It's the same thing, and there's no need to have two games. Can we just get one? Can people stop buying one? Stop buying two? Even though one game, like the EA game, usually comes out to $19 by the second month. So maybe we could keep that one and eliminate the 2K, or find a way that we can make these yearly games cheaper. Because really, these games are just meant to help us relax. They're meant for us to put our minds at ease. Life is tough as it is already. We've got to go to work. We've got to go to, if it's not work, it's school, and it's just an everyday cycle. It's a repetitive cycle. And to come home from time to time or sometimes and just sit down and let loose and play a hockey game or play a sports game or play a game like Mass Effect, if not Mass Effect, a game like Grand Theft Auto as an example, or any of these games. It's a privilege, and it allows us time to be with ourselves and to have some fun and do things that we can't do. And let's say you're having a shitty day and you just want to go into Grand Theft Auto and make a mess. You have that option, because we know how difficult school life could be. Sorry, I know how difficult life could be. I've gone through school, I've college, university, high school, etc. Graduated all of them. Ended up working. We know it's an endless cycle. You don't stop ever. There's no break really. You get a summer break, but even at that, once summer break flies by, you're already back in school, and then it's just repetitive. It's over and over. You're always finding things to stress about. You're always finding new reasons that you should be angry or worried, or it's crazy, the society that we live in, that this is what it's become. That without school, you're considered either a moron or not on the same intellectual level as those who've graduated and those who've survived the years and years of schooling. Some people can go on for over 20 years. You could spend time in school, or some 10 years if you're trying to get your bachelor, your masters, your doctors, and etc. etc. There's just it's just such a long process, and I've seen many of my friends just losing their mind and becoming stressed out. And I don't know what you're getting stressed out about. Look, school in my mind is all a matter of opinion. Listen, you're not right, I'm not wrong. The teacher can't be right, and I can't be wrong either. The teacher wasn't there when these books were published. The teacher wasn't there when these stories were created. This teacher wasn't there when the person who came up with the first history book was there. The teacher doesn't know whether or not what they're teaching is actually false or true. They're just going based off the idea that what they're presented and what they're given as their booklets and their teachings is correct. Just like as we as students assume that what the teacher is telling us is correct. But really, is it correct? Can we not form our own opinions? Can we not create our own ideas? Can we not create our own words? Is that not what we've done lately? Have we not changed the landscape of what we've learned in school? Think about it for a second. Text messaging in general has exploded, and we've found new ways of changing the way we type. We've found easier ways, we've found simpler ways, and we've found quicker ways. Rather than writing we're laughing, we will write LOL. Rather than writing oh my god, we will write OMG. Have we not changed the shape or in the form of the writing of writing? So with that in mind, can that not be said and that can that not be applied to everything else that we are learning in school, with the exception of math? Math is obviously, it's either 2 plus 2 is 4 and that's it. You can argue the fact that how do you know it's 4? Who came up with this is 4? Why is this 4? And et cetera, et cetera. But that's just a whole other argument that I probably don't want to get into. And if I would get into it, it'd have to be with somebody else, because arguing with myself wouldn't make any sense. But here we are in this day and age where we're going to school and we're learning information that we don't necessarily know is true, especially if you're learning in a trade school, especially if you're learning a specific trade. And I'm not going to say plumbing or engineering or bricklaying or even what's the word I'm looking for? Electrician, sorry. And these trades, you need to know what the professor is teaching you. There's no ways of making your own. I'm talking in terms of those special programs, the writing program, the music program, the arts program in general. What is schooling really teaching us? Why are we really spending all this money to go to school? Because if you really think about it, we're being taught by people, especially in the arts program, who've yet to truly accomplish anything outside of probably graduating, and some have not even graduated. But outside of graduating, they've yet to do anything that really has established themselves in this world. In the arts world, in the arts community. There are very few people who will know who they are, meaning those faculty members will appreciate those within let's say, the theater community or the cinema community in Canada or Montreal specifically, or the small amount of people will recognize them. But us as the general population, and I believe those students going to these classes are the ones that make up the audience to their projects and to their works of art. And if we don't know who you are, how can we learn from you if we've never really seen any of your works? If you've never really made it to the level that we in our minds hope to achieve at some time and place. Now, I've been taught by people who didn't even go to school. They dropped out and they went on to make their own, either they went and write a book or they made their own plays. Look, the point I'm trying to get at is very simple. Listen, don't put too much stress on yourself when it comes to schooling, right? We all think these numbers, these grades, these alphabet, these letters, whatever it is that we're getting, whatever school that we're at or whatever level that we're at in school, we all think that it's important to have the highest R score, to have the highest grades. At the end of the day, there are 3 things that are important to make it, or to make a lot of money in this world, because if that's your goal in life. Hard work, motivation, and to be a big dreamer. If you've got those 3, then nothing can stop you. If you think studying in those books and learning what you can learn, let me rephrase that. If you think cramming in all that knowledge on a day's notice for an exam that you got tomorrow is what's going to make it or break it for you in the world, it's not. Because at the end of the day, you're more or less not going to remember whatever it was you crammed in the night before. But if you're motivated, a hard worker, and a dreamer, then really, what can stop you? What, besides yourself, is going to stop you from achieving the goals that you've put for yourself? I understand the importance of school. I understand the unimportance of school also. At the end of the day, it is the person and the individual who can make a path for themselves that they want to live. People in the schooling industry, or teachers, or anyone from your family to friends, they can't make these decisions for you. You either got it in you that this is what you want to do and this is the path you'd like to take, such as become a doctor, become a lawyer, become a teacher. Schooling is the path you must take. Unless you're teaching in the arts program, then all you got to do is really write a book, and hopefully it gets published and gets bought by more than 10 people. But if your goal is at the end of the day to achieve something in life and not just to become another one of those who wake up in the morning and go do the same job, then I say you got to have those 3. Be a big dreamer, motivation, and a hard worker. Because being lazy is not going to get you anywhere. And I'm sure those who are in school and those who are the ones who are most stressing about their grades are the lazy ones. They're not the big thinkers and they're not the dreamers. There are those who are intelligent who still stress, and they're the ones who end up getting 100% on the test, but they spend the majority of the time leading up to the test saying that they're not ready, or they walk out of the test saying, "Oh, I think I failed." Listen, buddy, you didn't fail. You haven't failed one fucking test in the last 5 years that we've been together in the same school. So there's a good chance you're not failing today. Now, if I tell you I probably failed, there's about a 60% chance that I either A, I failed, or B, I'm probably getting a decent mark, a passing mark, and a mark that I deserve. And at the same time, I deserve that mark, as I said. I didn't put much effort, and I knew I could get away with the effort that I'm putting in. Bottom line, don't stress. Enjoy life. We were only on this earth for a limited amount of time until it's taken from us. So if we're going to spend all that time worrying, then really we're not enjoying anything of our lives. We're just watching our life pass us by. So I say, try to enjoy as much as you can, try to do as much as you can, but most importantly, never let go of that motivation and that drive that you have to be successful, or not even successful, to do something in your life that you feel that is worth saying I've accomplished something. Never lose that drive. Never get discouraged because school is boring or because your current part-time job sucks.
You experience low energy, fatigue, difficulty sleeping and waking, or an increase in cravings during the winter months? Or how about when you don't get enough time outside? If so, you may be experiencing the winter blues, and you're not alone. As many as 1 in 7 Americans suffer from winter blues, which is a lesser form of seasonal affective disorder caused by a lack of exposure to natural sunlight. Winter blues can affect mood, energy, sleep, appetite, and more. Even in the southern climates during the summer months, the winter blues can affect people when they don't get enough exposure to light. Studies have shown light.
All right. No one wants to hear what those studies have shown. Now, sorry, what that was a commercial for this product called Happy Light. Happy Light is this week's sponsor for the show. Happy Light. If you're suffering from the winter blues, basically this is a light that you turn on and you place it in front of your face. And this light is apparently going to clear you of your winter blues. So whatever depression you're going through, or just fucking anything in life that's bothering you, this magical light, once again called Happy Light, brings daylight and summertime into your life. That just sounds fucking horrible. But that's exactly what this light is. You really need to look this up to see it. That's this week's sponsor. And you could probably get that, and I know you can get that for $59.99 at your local Costco. I'd say, unless you plan on getting someone a shitty gift for Christmas, go ahead and pick this up. Otherwise, this is a little crap. This is not going to make nobody happy. If I want a happy light, I just grab a light bulb, put one next to my face, and turn that on. No, same stuff, same exact thing. It's a light. A light is a light, so what's the difference between your light and my light? Moving on to something less stupid, and let's get something new next week instead of this Happy Light and fake Apple Watches crap. What do we have going on?
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hey, Johnny, what's up?
I have a problem with Lisa. She said that I hit her.
What?
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a brief clip of the movie The Room, starring Tommy Wiseau, Greg. I don't know your last name, Greg. I apologize. Many of you, or most of you, will know of it as considered one of the worst films ever made, which rightfully so deserves to have that credit. But in one respect, it's quite honestly hilarious. If you could look at it as a comedy and take a scene like that where he just comes up, for those you don't know what it is, he's walking up the stairs and he opens the door to the rooftop and he's mumbling those words, "I did not hit her, I did not hit her, I did not hit her. Oh, hi, Mark." So it's just funny to watch happen and unfold because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. A lot of the scenes that Tommy's in just don't make sense whatsoever at all. The movie it's funny. Like, if you want to watch something really stupid, it's funny. The one negative is the middle part where the film takes over from the girl's perspective, because the film's about a guy who's getting married to this girl named Lisa, and Lisa is cheating on Tommy. 'Cause I don't remember what his name is in the film. So, but we'll call him Tommy. Tommy is cheating on Lisa with Tommy's best friend Mark. All right. So that's basically the premise of the film. She doesn't want to be with Tommy, but she doesn't want to break up with him because she needs to stay with him, because or else without him she's poor basically, and he has all the money. So she's gonna stick with him and keep fucking Mark on the side. I don't know. It's very weird. But that's the plot of the movie, and the main half of the movie just involves basically Lisa and sleeping with the other guy, Mark, and not much happens. It's not even funny. It's just depressing because the acting is horrible, and then you're just sitting through a shitty movie without really laughing. But you're laughing, but not really as much as you were in the beginning. And then there comes the third act, and the third act is where it picks up. So if you could sit through the middle second born act, once Tommy comes back and the grandmother who steals the scene with one of the most famous and most casual ways of announcing that they have cancer.
I'm not giving him a penny. Who does he think he is?
He's your brother.
He is always bugging me about my house. 15 years ago, we agreed that house belongs to me. Now the value of the house is going up and he's seeing dollar signs. Everything goes wrong at once. Nobody wants to help me, and I'm dying.
You're not dying, Mom.
I got the results of the test back. I definitely have breast cancer.
I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not something to laugh at, but just to listen to the way she announces she has breast cancer and to say it in such like a relaxed and joking manner, and she's even smiling when she says it while holding a cup of tea. It just makes the whole thing a joke, and she steals the show. There's more moments like that with her, and I would say I would recommend watching it if you're down to see something really stupid. Give it a check, and then when you do end up checking out the James Franco film that came out last week, a disaster movie, at least you'll have something to laugh at. Be like, oh yeah, I remember when that happened in that really horrible movie, blah blah blah. So that's my recommendation for this week. Maybe next week I'll actually care enough to break down how bad American Assassin is, but I won't. Actually, what we're going to end it on is there are some fights this weekend. UFC on Fox, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live from... Where are we from this week? Oh, we're from Winnipeg, Canada. Live in Canada, our home nation. Our hometown. Not our hometown. Very far from us. But live in Winnipeg this weekend, we got a heck of a card with some really good fights on here. Main event is Robbie Lawler versus Rafael Dos Anjos. Anyone who knows anything about Lawler, he's one of the toughest stand-up guys there is. You remember him from his fight against Roy McDonald, where they were both bloody and staring at each other in the cage. And you got Rafael Dos Anjos, who's on a 2-fight win streak against two of the toughest welterweights there are in the division. His last one, I believe, was against Neil Magny. I'm just going to confirm this 1 second. I should probably know this, but I don't. Yes, it was against Neil Magny, and the one before that against Tarek Safadine. And even against Neil Magny was by a submission, and that was in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So Rafael's no stranger to Canada. So welcome back, Rafael. And he's going up against a real tough, like I said, Lawler, who's coming off a victory against Donald Cerrone, and Donald Cerrone gave him a hard time. They went back and forth, and Lawler has his back and forths, but he really picks it up in the third round, and he did so against Cerrone. But he's coming in against Cerrone, so we're about to see who wants it, and we know the winner gets a title shot. We're going to co-main. The co-main event, we got Ricardo Lamas, former featherweight title shot challenger, against Josh Emmett. I don't know if I've ever seen Emmett fight. I feel like I have, but I'm not sure. I probably have, but I don't remember. So anyways, he's fighting Ricardo Lamas. I'm going to say Lamas wins this one. Lamas looked pretty good in his last fight. I don't see why he should. He was also preparing to fight Aldo. He's kind of pissed he didn't get that fight, so he's prepared for this one. Emmett's coming in on short notice, so Lamas has a longer camp. I like this fight. Then we got under that fight, we've got Santiago Ponzinibbio against Mike Perry. What a war. If you want to see a stand-up fight, you want to see two fights that are going to be stand-up wars. Actually, there's three fight stand-up wars. You got Glover Teixeira and Misha Serkinov. Ooh, three stand-up wars we're about to witness. Ricardo Lamas has the opportunity of being that also, and if so, we're going to have... it's going to be a quick card on Fox, so I'm saying there's going to be a lot of unders hitting over here. Anyone looking at the preliminaries, you got John McDessie, a Montreal Canadian native. Actually, I believe he lives right out here in Laval. He's taking on Abel Trujillo, who's very good. We'll see what McDessie has. I thought he was retired. He's back. Who knows? You got nobody else. You got Jordan Mead and Eric Silva. Anyone who remembers Eric Silva, he's very good at spinning back kicks and kicking people in the body, then getting tired and then getting finished. But he's very exciting to watch. But you'll have to have Fight Pass to see that. So probably no one's going to see that. Anyways, the main card, very, very good fights. If I have to pick people right real quick. Fuck. I say Robbie Lawler over Dos Anjos. He's quicker. Not quicker, sorry. Dos Anjos is going to be quicker, but Lawler's going to be precise. Lawler's got that power. Lawler's going to test his chin. Dos Anjos' chin has not been tested like this, and it's never been tested by a stand-up striker like this. The last time he fought a guy who brought the fight to him, that was Anthony Pettis, and we saw what happened. Actually, no, Pettis lost to him. What am I saying? It was Eddie Alvarez, excuse me. Eddie Alvarez took his shots, then brought the fight right back to him, and Dos Anjos crumbled. Lawler's going to do the same thing. He's going to bring the fight right straight to him. And I don't think Dos Anjos can be able to take the pressure Lawler brings to him. Ricardo Lamas, Josh Emmett. Like I said, I haven't seen anything about Josh Emmett, so I don't really know. I think Lamas is going to win this, just based off that. Ponzinibbio and Mike Perry. It's going to be a stand-up fight. Worst case scenario, I say Ponzinibbio probably goes for the takedown on Mike Perry because he can't take Mike Perry's strikes. It's going to end in a finish. I'm not going to pick a winner because I don't know who's going to win it, but I believe that this is a definite under 3.5, under whatever it is. Just under. Glover Teixeira versus Misha Serkinov. If this doesn't end on its feet, it's going to be because Teixeira decided to take him down and just sub him. Regardless, it's going to be an under. Someone's going to either get finished. Someone's going to go to sleep. Who would win this? I just think Glover Teixeira is too experienced. Serkinov, he's still young. He's coming up, and he's just coming off a loss to Uzimadir, who's fighting Daniel Cormier in Boston for the title. So he's coming off a loss to the title challenger. Before that, he was on a 6-fight win streak. Pretty impressive to be on a 6-fight win streak against some tough guys. So we'll see, but I don't think he's going to be able to take what Teixeira's going to be able to handle. Teixeira's also a well-rounded fighter. Black belt jiu-jitsu, good stand-up. Actually, he's coming off a loss to Alexander Gustafsson. My bad. Alright, so he's 1-2. He's beat Jared Kinnear, who's fighting on the undercard of this fight. Lost to Anthony Johnson and lost to Alexander Gustafsson. My gut's feeling I'm still going to have to go with Teixeira on this one. He's going to be too experienced for sure. Serkinov, he's not going to be ready. But regardless, it's going to be an under also. Overall, it's going to be a stacked card. I don't know. What else is there this weekend? There's a WWE event. My bad. There's also a WWE event. Clash of Champions. Is it going to be any good? Maybe. Maybe not. Probably not. But regardless, it's taking place this week. It's taking place this Sunday, actually. Let's just go quickly through it. Anyone who's interested. AJ Styles, Jinder Mahal. Whatever. No one cares. Hopefully AJ wins. Hopefully it's a good match. Baron Corbin versus the glorious one, Bobby Roode. Dolph Ziggler, sorry. Once again, don't care. Bobby Roode probably wins, but probably won't. It's going to be the champion retains. Women's match. What's important on this one? Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Oh, if the two Canadians, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, lose, they get fired. That sounds about right. Americans are always trying to get rid of Canadians. We're too intelligent. That's the problem. So Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are probably going to win. Storyline is Daniel Bryan, one of the referees, gets involved, and somehow they end up winning. Anyways. A fun tag team to look at if you want to look at funny videos is Breezango. These guys put out videos spoofing films, but they're very goofy and very like cheap. So it's kind of those. It's silly. I don't know what to really name, but just look up Breezango and you'll find some goofy stuff. Women's match: Charlotte Flair and Natalya. All the women apparently can be around the ringside as a lumberjack match. Charlotte Flair probably wins. No reason why she doesn't. That's about it. That wraps up this week. I would talk more about wrestling, but there's nothing really to talk about in this event. They kind of just slapped it together. Hopefully it's good. If it's good, then I have something to say about it, and then I'll be wrong. I'd like to be wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. For this week, thanks for joining me. We'll see what we have for this and for the next week. Maybe something more, maybe something not. Once again, if you like it, subscribe. If not, I really don't care. If you do, like it, subscribe, and keep listening. See you around.